Hey guys, today we're talking about orthorexia. If you're not sure what it is, it's an unhealthy obsession with eating healthy food, and it is a medical condition, and some people say it is considered an eating disorder. But before we get into today's topic, I want to make sure that all of you are following me on Instagram. I'm sharing my workouts, what I eat, pictures of Tommy and Nick, of course, as well. And if you wish that I vlogged more, I love the stories, so you kind of get a sense of what my vlogs might look like if you follow me on Instagram and watch my stories. So go over and follow me now. So let's get to it. Orthorexia. Here's the definition. A fixation on righteous eating. Sufferer systematically avoids specific foods in belief that they are harmful. An obsession with eating healthy foods that one considers healthy. So how does going from eating healthy foods to an eating disorder? Here's how. When you associate a certain food with being unhealthy, you systematically stop eating said food. By the end, there are so many foods that you've restricted from your diet that you now are deficient in essential vitamins and nutrients, and maybe even not eating enough calories. Therefore, your health begins to fail. So what went from being healthy behavior is now unhealthy, and everybody's worried about you. This might sound like some people that you know, and when I first heard about it, I kind of thought it was a little bit of hogwash. But this summer, I have been doing my job and watching a lot of documentaries on Netflix, and I totally see how orthorexia suddenly sneaks up on you, because I feel like I personally have been having these orthorexic thoughts. So let's start with some of the documentaries. One of the first ones I ever saw was Food Inc. Food Inc. made me afraid of any product that was manufactured or had anything to do with Monsanto. It also talked a lot about pesticides and why we should avoid them, so that made me want to eat organic. Then I saw Fed Up, and that was about sugar. And it really opened my eyes to how a lot of people kind of in middle America and in certain areas of the country that I haven't really been exposed much to aren't aware of what actually is healthy. And they're eating certain foods that the government, big companies want you to think are healthy, and they're really not. I highly recommend going to go watch Fed Up. I do like that one. One that I also recently saw was What the Health. What the Health promoted a vegan diet, and that's the video, the documentary that made me want to do this video right now. We'll get to that one later. Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and also Food Matters talked about eating more of a raw vegan diet. So these don't even want you to really cook your food. They think that you lose nutrients, especially vegetables. So they are promoting raw food. There was even one point in Food Matters where they said you should drink 1 to 2 liters of water every morning to help detox. I do not think you need to do a juice cleanse to detox. I think your liver has the ability to do it without that. There was also What's with Wheat and the War on Wheat, which talked about gluten and linked them to a lot of autoimmune diseases as well as diabetes. If you've been following, we have one documentary that links gluten to diabetes. We have another one, Fed Up, that links sugar to diabetes. And then we also have What the Health that's saying that meat and fat is linked to diabetes. So who's right? They all have doctors telling you not to eat their specific food because it all causes diabetes. If you had orthorexic tendencies, you'd probably stop eating all of these things. But what kind of life is that to live? So if you're a mom, you've got to go to a kid's birthday party with your child, but your child cannot eat the cake. Your child also can't eat what they're serving because you believe that all of these things are going to lead to them having diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. You kind of get where I'm going with this, right? Sure, we live in America and it's a huge problem, and these documentaries are trying to educate us, because I do agree with them that education is what's gonna help us make better decisions. Fed Up talked about that. A lot of people aren't educated enough to know what is a healthy option. When it comes to What the Health, they really instill fear in you, the viewer. If you consume meat or dairy, that you are going to develop diabetes, you're gonna have heart disease and develop cancer. So like many of the other documentaries, they do try to instill fear, but I found that this one to be the most drastic. So this is my takeaway with orthorexia and watching any documentary. You need to watch them with an open mind. They each have a message, accept it, but don't believe everything that you see or you read. You really should do your research. Of course, a vegan documentary is going to be promoting a vegan diet. Of course, a documentary about sugar is going to be telling you to stop eating so much sugar, and so on. The point of the documentary isn't necessarily to give you both sides of the story, but that's your job. You should go and research. A lot of you guys you left comments on my blog after I wrote my thoughts on What the Health, and you kind of said, shame on you. It sounds like you really believe in a plant-based diet, but you don't want to take the time and energy to implement it for yourself and your family. That's right to an extent. But I really also truly believe in quality of life. If I enjoy doing something, I'm gonna continue doing it. I do not think that eating meat or dairy is going to cause cancer, especially if you eat it in moderation. Sure, there are some studies that promote that, but there's also studies that say that sugar as well as wheat cause those exact same things as well. And I'm not gonna cut everything out. I'm just gonna practice a diet in moderation. Foods like cookies and cakes should be treats. They should be moderately consumed, moderation. Which brings me to another documentary that I haven't watched, but I know the guy that did it, and that's called Forks Over Knives, and that's Michael Pollan's documentary. And Michael Pollan says to eat food, not too much, mostly plates. I completely agree with this statement. I think it's a great statement. Do I eat meat? Yes. Do I eat dairy? Yes. Do I eat non-organic fruits and vegetables? Yes. Do I eat gluten? Yes. But the point is, most of my diet consists of real foods, fruits and vegetables, lean protein, beans, good fats, nuts, avocado. I eat bread, and I find that when I eat without restricting myself, I eat a lot less. So those things like cakes and cookies are less in my diet when I'm less restrictive, if that makes sense to you guys. When I watch these documentaries though, they all make me wanna go crazy, and they make me wanna not eat anything. But then I go to a barbecue and I see, delicious barbecue chicken and some potato salad, some delicious cake, dessert, ice cream. And that's what I wanna eat. And I don't wanna have to be at a party and not be able to enjoy what everybody else is enjoying. That's stressful. And you know what's even more likely to cause death than sugar and gluten and meat? Stress, cortisol. So if you find that your dietary choices are causing you a tremendous amount of stress, maybe it's not worth it, right? I have made a pledge to eat less meat. I'm trying to eat more of a plant-based diet, but I will never say that I'm a vegan. I love ice cream. I do love yogurt. I do think that they have some great benefits. I'm not gonna make my son a vegan. If your children are vegans, great. And if Tommy wants to become one when he's older, I will support it. But basically, if you believed everything that you saw in a documentary, you really have nothing to eat. And one underlying theme through all of them is that the government really doesn't give a shit about what you're eating. They are kind of more interested in their money. So take that into consideration when you're trying to come up with like a diet plan. Anyway, follow me on Instagram. Hopefully I didn't lose a lot of you. I promote vegan diets. I promote meat eating diets. I promote paleo diets. I promote gluten-free diets. I think you gotta find a diet that works for you. So before you go all in on one of these diets after watching a documentary, do your own research. And if you do find that you're having tendencies like what I described with orthorexia, I've included a link down below. Let me know your thoughts. I'm Sarah. I'll see you guys soon.